welcome back. Set 1 has officially ended. Set 2 shenanigans are about to begin. I'm Tiger, on the desk with Hindu Man. We're going to be bringing you SoaR Gaming versus SoaR.
And SoaR Gaming, if you don't recognize them, they are known as the Los Amigos. They made it through the relegation battle to be here today. SoaR Gaming as well, you know, those guys is still the same sort of team. They've had a couple of roster changes, however.
Just a little bit. We're going to see a lot of changing out because hi-rez aggro has left for the caster's desk.
hi-rez aggro.
Yeah, it's gonna leave out.
And you're here too.
Oh, I am here too. I'm gonna be helping out with the SCL here.
Don't seem so nervous. There's nobody else here. It's just me and you.
I know, but I'm not always nervous.
You don't need to be nervous. It's fine. You guys at home are nice. Kappa.
Kappa.
Kappa. No,
Talking to you, Twitch.
Don't you say Kappa. I'll do that. I'll do the banter bit, okay?
Okay.
You focus on the work. Come on.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go into picks and bans here between the two. SoaR Gaming, obviously, they didn't manage to make it through overall to things here, but they've got to be up against SoaR first of all. SoaR have a double header here against the two of the best teams in the North American circuit.
Indeed. And SoaR Gaming and SoaR haven't necessarily come out and faced each other yet, which it's kind of a clean slate for everybody here. SCL just started, Fall Split coming in.
That's a start overall. I mean, when you start a new season, you want to get to a very good start. Amigos have an opportunity to do that against SoaR here, and we'll go through that in picks and bans because SoaR, well, they've made a couple of changes with their roster here. Chacho, from what I understand, may be playing in the jungle here, and Chapo is moving to the mid lane position with SoaR now leaving, and they brought themselves in a new duo lane.
A new duo lane consisting of StormyRays and Despair getting pulled from two different SCL teams from the previous split. So speaking of previous split, you kind of saw what SoaR kind of prioritized. With these new changes, what do you think we're going to see in this picks and ban phase?
Well, I wasn't going to expect an Anubis ban, that's for sure, at the start of this one. But it's surprised to see that one. However, I expected to see Nemesis, you know, Ao Kwang taken off the table. Now that ban may be a throwaway one from SoaR here. It's not something we see too often, Tiger, but that throwaway ban could be to make sure they get a priority pick for themselves in the first phase.
That's possible. Raijin has still, is still available, but Susanoo has been banned out, and Nemesis not going to be able to shred targets with that ultimate. Waiting on the last one, going to be a Fafnir, so Raijin is available for that mid lane.
Not just Raijin, Ao Kwang is also up too, but SoaR Gaming going to prioritize the Guan Yu this time round. SoaR Gaming have the opportunity to answer back now. They were known as the Los Amigos, as I mentioned, but this time round they're now SoaR Gaming getting picked up by them. Now we saw earlier on today in the first set of the day that Odin was locked in at this point when Guan Yu was picked up.
And I mean, they picked a couple of things into Odin you might not want to picked up, but Zeus going to be picked up by SoaR Gaming.
Yeah, Zeus in the mid lane, pretty standard overall. Obviously, with Raijin is available, though. Pretty surprised to see Zeus prioritized over the Raijin here for the SoaR Gaming. Boronic, I believe is his name, in the mid lane there for SoaR Gaming. And we'll see how he does on this one, because they're going to have to round out their comp nicely. And I think the Thor pick is very wise here.
Going to give him a lot of peel in the mid lane as well. Help out that Zeus, since he doesn't really have a legit escape. I was going to say, you're surprised about the Zeus, but there was an Anubis ban.
Well, it's much to do with the fact that Raijin was still available here, Tiger. You know, obviously, with Anubis banned out, it leaves Raijin up, it leaves Ao Kwang up, until put Zeus through ahead of a Raijin. Not something you used to see him.
Freya getting picked up as well, magical ADC. We don't really see her as much in the jungle anymore.
Not even much in the jungle, just because you're very important for you to get the wave clear online. Jungle, you don't get as much farm as you do in the other lanes, so that's when you generally see her in the haunted position, and that's where the console boys have been doing it for quite a while now.
Gonna draft up Scylla for the mid lane as well. Monstrous damage, total pun intended, coming out for the mid lane, while Athena gets locked in for SoaR.
So already Athena, Zeus, and Thor is the real trio for SoaR Gaming here. I do like this setup potential with the three. Remember, global ultimate available for Athena, Thor with that semi-global for the most part, can combine nicely with an Athena, and allowing Zeus to get off a lot of free damage if he doesn't get engaged on the back line.
You mentioned that Ao Kwang is gonna get banned out since SoaR Gaming haven't drafted an obvious jungler. Guan Yu could go in there if you wanted to, but his sustain is going to be useful in more places. And Odin banned out as well.
And the Odin ban is just wise from SoaR Gaming here. When you draft the Guan Yu, you don't want to have to deal with Odin. Game goes on. Obviously, it's not the patch where Phantom provides to your whole team. Apologies, everyone in Twitch chat was upset about that one, but I expected it was with the composition that was formed. But Erlang Shen banned out as well. And the funny thing is, as you said, you know, Guan Yu can jungle, but at the same time, once again, junglers don't get as much farm as solo laners. So put him in the solo lane, you can get a little bit more farm, or in the support role, he'll make more of an impact.
Yeah, beef up that Guan Yu. Hu Yi, the god of geometry, banned out as well, and immediately, without even any hesitation, Ravana picked up for SoaR.
Surprised that went with that option there. They could have actually saved their counter pick, but I guess they don't want SoaR Gaming to get Ravana for this squad as well. They may be themselves maybe a little bit concerned about where SoaR Gaming's roster ends up going in this, because there's a lot of roster changes here. We'll find out when we get in game where everybody does play. Is Fenrir locked in? You excited about that?
I love Fenrir. Fenrir's my favorite god. I play him all the time, and I think he brings a lot to the jungle, even the solo lane, depending on where you're going. He sticks to you a lot like a Susano.
Well, I think he's going to be in the jungle this time around, as Neith is the final pick for SoaR Gaming there, so a very safe hunter in that role over on the left-hand side of things. And I think that's pretty wise to go up against the Freya as well. Very, very safe in that lane. If you're a little bit worried, a little bit nervous coming into this, especially with it being your debut in the console league for the boys here, is a very wise pick to go with something safe, you know.
I can understand those feelings, plus playing safe against these very experienced players coming out. They play together, they have the synergy, and that's really important. You can pick up these great players, but the synergy is really what's going to drive it home.
Well, the synergy for SoaR Gaming is going to be something available for them here, because they have played through the Challenger Cup together for a while, and SoaR, on the other hand, well, you can see where they're all playing. It is going to be Chapo in the mid lane for this team here, playing the Scylla.
StormyRays throwing down that crush, just going to let that sit for a bit. StormyRays, however, is he going to be... He's going to be the support there, yeah.
Well, Chapo's basically just showing off the fact that he's got purification, first of all. That's what he just did there. If nobody else noticed it at home, everybody did. Chapo decided to use purification early.
I mean, it's a new intimidation tactic. I already used it once.
What, the red buff?
Oh, yeah, yes. Intimidate the red buff. Get that extra damage, yeah.
I feel that one. I think good save, Tiger. You become a caster already, saving the players when they make silly mistakes.
I do what I can.
You always try. But with this composition that's coming out from the side of SoaR here, the one issue they have is physical damage in terms of taking down towers. The only real physical damage they have, obviously they've got Guan, Amaterasu, and Fenrir, but overall, they're not going to be building too much in the way of frontline damage to be able to take down the towers. So Tower Shred could become an issue for SoaR Gaming if this game goes too late.
I mean, when you think tower killers, you think these ADCs like Neith, you think SoaR, and they don't really have anything like that. Despair is going to be the closest thing on that Freya for the boys in blue.
Yeah, exactly. Blue buff on the right-hand side going to be taken down here as well. You can already see Scylla going to head to mid lane nice and quickly here, but look at the start. They're going to invade the speed buff.
Yeah, they're coming on down. Want to go ahead and get that very quickly. Chacho, Uzzy don't even see it happening at this point. They're going to come a little too late. They may be fighting over it at this point, but it's already wrapped down. Fenrir jumping in, trying to get a little bit of damage, but they're all level 1. Don't really have that brutalize yet, but Uzzy taking a lot of damage. Double tap not going to hit, and spin to win going to be good as he just hit level 2. Layers of death going to get the first blood in here for the boys in red. Chacho better be careful. He's going to be next.
And this is what you want to do as SoaR Gaming here, Tiger. You want to get off to a good start and invade the jungle. Amaterasu and Fenrir early on against the Ravana and the Thor. You don't want to contest that. And now, bro, Chacho's like, well, I've got to give everything up. I'm just going to farm solo lane instead. We lose our speed buff over there. But not only that, they also lose the blue buff on their solo lane at Uzzy. That's going to hurt him too.
And you've been in that situation before when you're on this very high energy, high level 1 damage jungler, and when you get denied those kills, get denied that experience, it's really going to have him suffer. He's going to have to hang out in mid and solo lane a lot more.
Well, he definitely puts the jungler on the back foot for quite a while here then, Tiger. So what you're going to see here is bro Chacho going to have to farm up. Chapo's going to have to weather the storm of the Zeus Thor mid lane combination, who will have a bit of an advantage here. Don't forget, Thor getting first blood will give him a bit of a gold boost, but also a bit more experience as well.
Looking at the items real quick, hold on. Good taunt coming out from Kenshin, but not going to be able to take down Despair. Good Tallow Assault going to keep them at bay for now.
Just good poke coming out from the Duro lane of SoaR there. Just continue to use the taunts and the Spirit Arrows over and over again. Pin back the SoaR boys. And if you can also make sure Conviction is constantly on cooldown for StormyRays here, it will make sure that he's not got A, much mana, or B, can stack it up well enough to get a very good heal off.
Look at Fenrir, still level 2 right now. Very behind in gold. Hanging out in the mid lane, but that pressure coming out from Thor. Good wall, good double tap, lots of damage, and then the ultimate coming out. That's going to be another kill for the Zeus.
And this all goes back. This all goes back to the beginning of the game. That invade has allowed Zeus to get a bit more free farm in mid lane, hit level 5 quicker because they get the right harpies and the left harpies as well. And Zeus hitting level 5, there's nothing Chapo can do at that stage. Don't forget, Purification was used there as well, but it's not going to stop the detonate from Zeus.
Nope, Uzzy gonna clean up shop for now. Back over to the duo lane, StormyRays and Despair hanging back a little bit.
You kind of have to in this lane matchup as well. Neith and Athena, very, very strong lane pressure here. And I like the fact they're freezing the wave here as well, Tiger. Just keeping them pinned back and just denying a little bit more from SoaR. SoaR Gaming have come into this as a relegation team from the Challenger Cup and stepped up to SoaR, who were in very high contention to go to LAN.
Putting on the pressure on the duo lane as well. SoaR Gaming pushing down. Now that the creep have continued, SoaR Gaming don't really have the opportunity to push up those creep now. And once again, gonna have a good whoop 2-man Tallow Assault as well. Gonna go ahead and back off. They have the ability to just go ahead and disengage.
There's a bit of pressure coming out from SoaR though, because Chacho's rotated over, but still only level 4, and they're actually going to engage onto the Athena here, who just gets a roll up in time. We should get her away from the danger, but they may run her down.
Yep, Brutalize is gonna be able to lock down, and then Chacho gonna get gonna get obliterated in response. Here comes Thor though, crashing in, wall, not gonna connect with anyone, and SoaR Gaming gonna hard disengage. Getting out of that right now.
That works out so well for SoaR Gaming. BroChacho getting that kill really helps him out in the jungle to get his boots online already, especially as you can see the gold deficit between him and LayersOD on the Thor and the other team. That gold at least gets him in contention for staying on par.
Gonna go ahead and, a little bit of contention over at the speed buff. Are gonna be able to steal that away, and Ravana just sitting there tanking the damage. Mr. Crush gonna avoid any of that crush damage, but now we have a lot of ultimates coming out. Zeus and BroChacho coming in, gonna be able to lock down the Ravana, and then the detonate.
Poor BroChacho goes down again, but he did get that kill for himself there. Would have been nice to go over to Chapo, but a nice communication coming out from Uzzy and Chapo there together to secure that one. Thor is here though.
Thor is here, gonna miss the wall, not gonna be able to follow up with the double tap. Chapo's gonna be fine for now on that Scylla, but that is gonna be SoaR Gaming probably taking away this blue buff.
Yeah, they may be able to, but Guan Yu has rotated over here to try and defend as well in the grand scheme of things, but they're not going to be able to. As you can see, they actually give that over to Kenshin in the Athena in the support role there, so a bit more cooldown reduction and mana regen for him.
Yep, a little bit of a rotation back towards his right mid. Heartbeat's going to take that down. Every little bit counts. Squeeze out as much of that experience as you can.
Completely agree, and this is what SoaR Gaming need to do, keep the pressure on. Fortunately, the kills have gone to BroChacho, which actually helps him out with all the denial he's had throughout this game, with his buffs being invaded, allowing him to just keep almost pace, as I keep saying, with the Thor. Very important.
Speaking of keeping pace, looking over that solo matchup, just hypothetically, Ravana is very potent in the first couple of minutes, and Amaterasu's keeping up with him.
Well, he's doing a good job because he's not really been focused, especially after losing his buff early on here. Dr. Little Gabe over there doing a good work. I like the speed buff Invader did on his own there against 2 or 3 targets. He did get a rotation coming out. But the main thing is, as long as Uzzy doesn't die again, he will be okay in this lane. He's got the Bluestone Pendant, which is going to help him clear the wave a little bit more over this side, so he's not going to lose too much farm underneath the tower.
A little bit of a... I'm looking at the wards right now. Lots of little red dots over for the vision. Lots of SoaR Gaming being very aware of their jungle.
And left-hand side, they're going to look for the pressure onto the Freya, and immediately the World Weaver fired off. Double tap connects, going to force the Freya ultimate as well, but the rotation coming out from SoaR. We're thinking about committing, but Banish comes out from Despair wisely, but Guan Yu is here.
Guan Yu is here, going to go ahead and jump on in, or at least look for an opportunity to. StormyRays getting heavily zoned out. 1v3, not going to really find too much. Going to be able to dash out of the taunt, and we have a little bit of clear coming out from the back end, but now we're going to have the wall. Double tap is going to be good. Despair stayed a little too long.
Great little pickup from SoaR there. Now, what you actually saw coming out from the dual lane of StormyRays there on the Guan Yu was he tried to support his Freya to make sure he didn't get dived under the tower, but had to juke out all the abilities, and because of that, the Freya, Despair, started thinking that he was safe too. Walked too far forward, eats a double tap. Good night, sweet princess.
Good night indeed. Chacho gonna check out these buffs, but we have a little bit of a pause coming out.
Yeah, just a quick pause coming out between the two teams here. 5-2 in favor of SoaR though, and this is a great start for them at the start of the league, you know. Going up against SoaR Gaming, you invade the buff early on, you abuse the situation, the fact that you've got the advantage of the jungle control with a Thor and a Ravana early on against a Fenrir and an Amaterasu, and they even recognized that themselves because they started the blue buff into speed, it felt like, but it got recognized by the boys of SoaR.
And the word of the day is pressure. That's all this game is about, is throwing your weight around and exerting as much pressure as you can on the opposition. And
not only just get pressure one side, they get it elsewhere. Now they've got an opportunity to look at the Gold Fury here. Around the corner comes StormyRays, going to try and contest this one, but it's too little too late. Gold Fury for free, the way of SoaR Gaming.
Now we are 6 minutes and 40 seconds into the game. 2-5, SoaR up 3 kills and up about 4,000 and 3,000 experience and gold respectively.
Yeah, the speed buff is about to spawn for SoaR Gaming this time around though, and that, with this as well, you can see the multitude of SoaR Gaming coming round here, looking to pressure this one out one more time, just to make sure they can secure it for themselves, make sure that Dr. Little Cabes can't actually come over and find that pick. Thor's going to take his speed buff on that right-hand side, his round on the left. BroChacho looking to pressure Ravana here.
Jumping on in, not going to be able to lock him down, instead going to take that lane tax and back on off.
Yeah, the main thing is to get the lane tax. It's called it a lane tax, but really it's BroChacho trying to catch up Scylla. He's now 2 levels down on Layers of Death because of the pressure and the Gold Fury too, so just allow him to get farm and try and stay relevant, because a Fenrir from behind is not something you want to to be.
I mean, I completely understand that. He's my main, and it's a really rough place for him to be on. He's kind of stuck. He can't be the ganking jungler that he's really meant to be.
Well, these right harpies and lefts are about to spawn right beforehand, however, and XBoronic wants to try and get as much experience as possible, as we say, but they're not going to be able to contest the harpies here one more time, so they've just been very defensive, which I think is very, very wise at this stage of the game.
I mean, it's passive, but it's smart. Smart play, because 3-member rotation going to go ahead and lock down those right harpies. Chacho actually going to come in. Good wall coming out from the Thor as well. Ragnarok has been activated, but he can't go any further because of the wall. I'm a monster coming in for monstrous damage. Tower shot is going to take out Kenshin. For credit for StormyRays.
Yes, StormyRays did a lot of good work in that. And Brutalize goes off, bro. Chacho looking for the Zeus, but the burst is too good. Baronic gets it, and now Chapo goes in too with a crush. Turns it around again, but Thor's in the sky.
Thor's in the air trying to cut off that escape. Now they're going to get pinched between 2 members. Ravana chasing down as well, is going to find the root, and Dr. Lil going to be able to get the kill now, putting himself on the board. But Uzzy's going to keep coming with the ultimate. Not going to be able to lock down the Thor in the back line because now Athena's here.
The taunt goes off, and now Ravana could look to root in place and get a bit more damage off Uzzy. Very low under the tower, and another kill goes the way of SoaR Gaming there. Crazy fight that continues SoaR's lead. The best news, though, Tiger, is that SoaR Gaming do come out on top in the kills, but there's not really many objectives for them to go for here. Gold Fury is currently down, so all they really get out of this is fire elementals. So from SoaR's point of view, getting a couple of kills isn't such a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not detrimental. There's not much that they can really glean off of the map currently, as you mentioned. There's a couple of buffs, but then you go through the danger of going too deep in the enemy jungle and then losing that lead.
On the left-hand side, yeah, you see Freya is level 8 to the level 10 of Neith so far in this game. Just hitting level 9 now. Despair having a bit of a rough time there, and I like the pressure SoaR have put onto the Freya as they did get control on the right middle side of the map, making sure they spread the wealth everywhere to all their lanes.
Yep, 2-level difference between the jungler matchup as well. Chacho just hitting level 9 with those back harpies.
Yeah, red buff about to go down for SoaR Gaming here as well, so they'll drop that one down, make sure Chacho gets a bit more experience. They do find a consolation prize on the left here with these left-hand harpies. Surprised SoaR missed those.
Yeah, they're probably worried about that team fight that was about to erupt, and instead went ahead and go for those kills instead. But now here the Athena taunt coming in. Crush not going to connect, but Chacho jumping in with another Ragnarok. He's going to pull him back towards that tower, get another tower shot, but I'm a monster is going to miss. Boronic going to be able to take that kill, but Chapo taking out the Zeus in retaliation.
Yo, shout outs to Baronic there on the Zeus. Gets pulled under the tower, and what does he do immediately? Drops the ultimate on the Scylla. A lot of burst damage onto the Scylla, so make sure he trades it out 1-for-1. Nice play from the mid laner.
Yeah, but Thor keeps going deep, trying to find the spin to win. Chacho not going to be able to stun him in and get any extra damage, but here comes the Mystic Rush over the tower wall. Is going to be able to take out the Wolf, but StormyRays a little too deep for Ravana to go for.
The Doctor is still in the house here. Raven really stepping up with these rotations as well. I like the fact Uzzy's trying to get involved, but Raven making a bit of a better impact. 3, 1, and 2, and with that Raph now looking to steal away the speed.
Yep, a little bit of a contention here. Uzzy not going to be able to lock it down, and instead, little Gabe's going to be able to just run away. Uzzy kind of forced to set back, lick his wounds.
Yeah, Kenshin in the moment though, and the Athena must be having a field day. He's just got a blue buff and a speed buff. As a support player, getting 1 buff is a dream. Getting 2 in a row is amazing.
Now, speaking of the objectives here with these buffs, I'm noticing nobody's got any wraths here.
Well, we do have one on the side of Raven so far, and that's why we saw the invade at the beginning of the game coming out from them. Wrath's not often picked too often unless you want to go really aggressive or make sure you have some sort of control around the Gold Fury and Fire Giant. Take into account, however, both Zeus and Scylla have a lot of damage.
Scylla getting pulled back into the taunt wall is going to be good, but nobody's going to continue to follow up because StormyRays was there.
Yeah, Purification came off as well from Chapo, so he just allowed them to get away from the danger zone just a little bit, but Gold Fury's about to come up one more time, and you can kind of see why SoaR drift into that sort of angle.
Yeah, but we're going to see Ravana keep Amaterasu here for the most part, and 2 levels between them. A Heavy Bruiser going to keep that big team fight ultimate and possible Gold Fury steal at bay. And
that's the main thing here. Make sure that we don't get Amaterasu coming over for this fight if they can help it. He doesn't have teleport available here, Uzzy, at the moment. And SoaR Gaming, they're basically, like I said earlier, they're licking the wounds for the time, and they just have to try and stay alive for the moment. But Athena, Thor, and Zeus are just combining so well on the side of Athena, of SoaR so far.
And speaking of those 3, they're waiting alongside this corner for them to go ahead and try and peek their heads around to check out this gold. For you're going to be a taunt onto Guan. Here comes the shield. Dash going to be good, but there's another person, Neith, coming around that corner as well.
It's very wise from StormyRays there. If you notice, the wall cut him off from going back towards his teammates, but in mid lane, pressure coming out here.
Here comes the Ragnarok, not going to be able to find the bite. Instead, we're going to have Ravana jumping forward, Thor crashing down, looking for Brochacho. Brutalized going to be able to save him, but the double tap is going to be better. Layers getting credit for that kill, and now Uzzy feeling the pressure with the root.
We've got an amazing amount of kills going on in this game. SoaR trying to answer back every time aware go aggressive, but the problem is that they're too far behind at this stage to really do that. Now the Gold Fury is under pressure, and you can see the zone control coming out from the members of Aware.
Yep, coming out with that wall, and now they're going to go ahead and focus all of their DPS at this point. Ravana the only one, but here comes Wanyu charging in. Gold Fury has been leashed, looking for some kills, looking for some objectives. I'm a monster coming over the wall, not going to knock anybody out, but Neith is going to find Wanyu, so no more sustain.
Chapo is still around the back here on the Scylla, however, and he's going to get the root off, but he's not got Crush available, trying to buy time, and the boys of Aware recognize this. They're going to try and trap Chapo in an awkward position. Taunt connects. Chain Lightning going to do some damage. He jukes out looking for the kill with the Crush. He doesn't get a single kill, though. The boys of Aware stand strong as a team.
Zeus barely getting out by the skin of his teeth, forcing that Sanctuary, even though he probably would have been safe, but every little bit counts. You don't want to get that kill.
Not only that, though, this is a good play from Chapo, because it actually stopped Aware getting the Gold Fury there. Yes, he did fall down again. Yes, the boys of SoaR losing these team fights, but making sure that major objective that the Gold Fury doesn't go down, it stems the bleed a little bit, even though the bleed is now at 6,000 gold.
Yeah, I mean, it's a band-aid over a bullet wound for the most part. Going to be able to slow that down for a little bit, but it's going to take more plays like that, and maybe even a little bit better to get SoaR back on the map.
Yeah, I actually want to see them really focus on just getting their relics online, hit those level 12 spikes for both their support and their jungler. But when I say that, poor old Despair, well, he's getting isolated a little bit more now. There's been a lot of pressure on mid lane from Aware, which is now left Freya left alone in that 2v1.
The CC coming out from Thor, it's on point. Those walls, he's really setting the pace for that game with his ganks and picking those fights correctly.
The whole team has. I mean, Dr. Little Gapes and Layers of Death together combined has really set this game in throw, and it's really hard for the boys of SoaR to even get back into this.
StormyRays trying to come in and take the Gold Fury, not going to happen. Instead, forcing himself onto the horse to get out of dodge.
But Brochacho still trying to commit here, looking for Athena on the left-hand side, but he can't find the chomp down, and because of that, he's delayed it a little bit more. Uzzy goes to the backside, going to try and pick off the Zeus, but Zeus is standing strong with Neith in tow. Uzzy forced out as well. Everybody survives, but what's going on the right-hand side, Tiger?
Right-hand side, looking at that split push coming out from Ravana. Misdirection, going to be able to take that tier 1 solo tower with ease.
So when you look at what happened there, you get the pick on Freya, you get the Gold Fury, and you also get a tier 1 tower, and now because of that, Ravana, Dr. Little Capes can now invade the jungle. Look at that blue buff.
Yeah, that blue buff going to be gone as well, or at least contested. Not going to be able to take that instead. Going to leave it, going to rotate back to those right mid harpies and take those instead.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how SoaR did this game, especially with losing aggro and switching out their Hunter Keegs mate for this new duo lane. Brochacho, predominantly a support player, now going into the jungle, and Chapo mid has changed the whole dynamic of this team. But the problem is, I don't think we've really got to see this lineup
Ravana waiting for the mana camp is going to not be able to lock it down. Instead, Stormy and Uzzy going to have to double team up to take it from them.
Yeah, this game's just got out of hand in favor of Aware. This invader at the beginning of the game has just applied so much pressure that SoaR Gaming just don't have an answer right now.
They can't really do anything about it. Cave sporting his new blue belt as he rotates back towards the mid. Coming along the backside, pretty dangerous, but waiting for an opportunity, maybe communication from his team.
But this is good because what's what happened on the left-hand side here? Thor is hanging in the jungle, Layers of Death in between mid and duo. And by doing that, he can provide pressure to either side he wants to. Obviously, with the tier 1 down being on the right-hand side, well, we can see Aware's solo laner able to rotate a little bit more freely because of that.
I mean, you know who I want to see rotate? I want to see some more Freya action. Every ultimate that we've seen so far has mainly been to get herself out of dodge, save her own life.
But all she does is want to farm up to that later game at the moment. She's 0-2-1, still about to finish her core build online. Now Demonic Grip about to come on. But getting the farm is the most important thing for this mage. The more and more you get in terms of levels, the better your power spike is going to be.
Yeah, but the problem is she keeps getting singled out, yeah. Yep. Because everywhere else on SoaR is needed somewhere else on the map.
We'll talk about elsewhere on the map. The pressure onto Aware Gaming solo laner here. Dr. Little Cave's under pressure. However, they're missing a couple of abilities here, SoaR Gaming, which is allowing some more survivability out of this solo laner.
It's taking all 4 of them at this moment to take down the Ravana. So tanky, level 16, but StormyRays gonna get credit for that kill.
Yeah, Chapo getting that kill, very important to get him some more stacks online, get his build escalated a little bit more. Aware Gaming just caught out a position there, and I'm fine with SoaR committing 4 members there. Gold Fury's down. There's nothing available for SoaR Gaming to capitalize on the map that side, so they just get a free pick, which gives them a little bit of a run further forward.
Speaking of capitalization, normally at this point in another game, I'd say, yeah, you're waiting for the opportunity to capitalize on a mistake, but Aware aren't really making that many mistakes.
No, particularly, no. I mean, there's no reason to. It's all about the core dynamic here of the Athena, Zeus, and Thor. Those 3 combining together nicely is very, very important for them to control and dictate the pace of this game. Yes, your solo lane may get picked off, but it's still fine. However, I'm saying that, and I was just watching LayersOD on that Thor, potentially gank left-hand side, but I'm glad he backed up.
He sniffed at it, but here comes the Guan looking for the stun. Is going to be able to find it, but the purification has been burnt. A little bit of lifesteal coming out from Neith as well. Crashing down is Thor, going to be able to find the stun with the wall as well, and then going to get out of dodge.
Great play from LayersOD there. All he wanted to do is make sure his Neith got out. He immediately hammered away, knowing there was still a rotation coming from SoaR. Saw it in the jungle, but while this is going on, SoaR have managed to get a tier 1 tower on the right-hand side here, and Uzzy is starting to find some levels.
A little bit of a misdirection coming out from SoaR Gaming as well. Feed them their own medicine.
Yeah, a little bit, but look at the left-hand side now. Aware now able to apply some pressure. Freya went back to base there, and Aware Gaming recognized it.
And now we have Zeus putting the pressure, keeping StormyRays here as well, while 2 members of Aware Gaming are going to be able to take down that tier 1 in the duo side as well.
Good little pick up there for Aware Gaming. Continue extending their gold lead. The kill 16-6 at the moment. Gold lead, though, approaching 9,000. Well, let's say approaches just over 8,000 here. More importantly, though, the experience. 10,000 experience into 18 minutes is a fantastic lead.
It's not over 9,000 yet. Calm down, Vegeta. We're waiting on it.
Left-hand side, though, still pressure onto Freya, but duking out the wall important. However, can't duke out the taunt. There's no real follow-up available for these boys, though, and XBoronic doesn't manage to find the Unchained again, and immediately the Ragnarok gets denied by a very nice little Athena ultimate.
Yep, and at that point, we haven't really had to use them for an offensive purpose, so it's more for gank, so Athena can live without that for a while.
Yeah, for the time being, especially with how Aware's doing, they could just relax a little bit, but there's a pressure onto Chapo, going to force the purification out. Good return damage from him, and with conviction coming through from the Guan, he will sustain up a little bit more.
4 members in the mid lane currently. Everybody going to start converging on this point, waiting for this opportunity to take down or take out the enemy team.
And that's why you see Uzzy there having to answer back, but Chapo just took so much poke and now taunted in into the Zeus ultimate again. XBoronic gets 1 kill, and the boys of SoaR have to fall back.
Yep, here it comes. They're going to continue putting their pressure onto the tower. Thor dunks in, is going to be able to find the Fenrir, but there's tastier targets in the front line, like this Uzzy happening with the ultimate, going to be a good stun. XBoronic looking for the Brutalize, not going to be able to lock down the Athena though, in fact forcing his own Sanctuary.
Yeah,
it's going to fall. Ends
up getting the kill, and because of this, Aware Gaming can take down the tier 1 tower for free here. Gold Fury is also available, but they could choose now. Do they want to go for tier 2? Do they want to go for gold? Seems the call is going to be the wiser one of the 2 here. Just take the free one in the Gold Fury.
And you're not going to have that tier 1 tower to fall back to, so no real safety net coming out for SoaR Gaming. Aware Gaming pretty much have a nice solid hold on this objective.
Oh, completely hold. I mean, you can see that SoaR Gaming know they were going to the Gold Fury, but they can't contest with the composition that they had available to them. On that right-hand side, you can see everybody just looking to try and catch up in farm. And this all goes back to minute 0. You see the graphs there. Minute 0, the initial invade happened from Aware Gaming, and from there, SoaR Gaming just could not get a grasp on this game.
Nope, we're 20 minutes and 13 seconds into the game. 14K and 11K up are Aware Gaming. Every little bit of experience and gold has been gleaned from the map, as now we see a rotation, maybe even start to put a ward on the Fire Giant.
It's not just that, though. Aware Gaming, look at where all the kills have gone to in this game, Tiger. It's all gone to the carries, the predominant ones you want the kills on. Get them their builds a little bit quicker. And you can even see, because of this, Divine Ruin's even been picked up by Zeus. XBoronic in the mid lane, just going to get that to deal with Guan a little bit more as well.
Anti-healing definitely going to come into play when these big team fights erupt, and Aware Gaming have been up and at it for the majority of the game, but every little bit counts.
Yeah, despite LayersOD doing a very good job, still not dead in this game so far. Since the outset of this, involved in 16 out of the 18 kills they've got.
SoaR Gaming actually able to secure their own red buff. That's going to go to the mid lane. Scylla, Chacho doing some zoning, checking to make sure that this mid lane is okay. They don't have the tier 1 tower to fall back on, so they have to be really careful as a level 13 Fenrir.
And the funny thing is being really careful about walking into the lane in case someone's waiting around the corner, but at the same time set up for a potential gank themselves. Talking about potential gank, Uzzy forced out on that right hand side, a little bit concerned about the taunt coming available for Kenshin there, but the Fire Giant dance has begun.
Yep, gonna have a little bit of damage onto it so far. Cameron being the main brunt of that. StormyRays trying to zone out. It is going to be Yep, gonna be completely
Oh,
leashed, and
left-hand
here comes
side.
the fight. Ragnarok gonna come in into I'm a Monster, but it's the tanky target instead. Not gonna find it while the double tap not gonna connect.
Zeus in the jungle under a lot of pressure. XBoronic is forced into his ultimate, but the Guan Yu cavalry charge is trying to do it, and he will secure the kill. However, Neith can't find the cleanup in response. Cameron not going to be able to find that one. SoaR Gaming forced on the back foot here. Good little play from SoaR.
Get out of jail free kick isn't gonna be good from Ravana. Spin to win. Gonna almost take out Uzzy. Barely getting out alive, but Ravana is still looking for blood. And yep, he's gonna be able to find it here on Uzzy here in just a second.
That's the main thing he's looking for. Conviction makes an impact though, as does the crush. The Doctor doesn't like it anymore. Athena will get credit for the kill. Kenshin gets it over. Despair around the corner on Freya, but you can see Guan Yu under pressure as Berserker Barrage goes off too. The taunt is attempted to be forced, but he will get the Freya ultimate.
Freya ultimate is gonna be down, and once again we see it saving her life and dishing out a little bit of damage. That's gonna keep SoaR Gaming away for a little bit, but for the most part, they're going to heal back up and come on back for the tier 2.
The problem is they saw 2 members go back to base there, did SoaR Gaming, so they could look to try and siege this down if they want. They don't have any minions, however, so it's not going to be really available to them. But this skirmish is going a little bit back and forth, and you can see that Chapo trying to make something happen with Brochacho in the jungle. These two are cousins, so they know each other pretty well through life overall, and their communication is going to be very important for this squad going forward.
And, you know, the magic word also is synergy. Season 3, mid-jungle synergy, team synergy overall. You can't just pick up these good ranked players, bush them together, and hope they play right.
Completely true. I mean, they did look for the pick onto Kenshin there on the Athena, but the problem is Athena is very, very tanky at this stage of the game. And with not a lot of damage on the side of those two, it causes issues. Talking about issues, forced out is Ravana.
Fenrir almost got pinched out there, used the jump to get away. Thor not going to be able to lock down the dunk. Ragnarok forced for that CC immunity, and StormyRays dashing away out of the damage as well, just in case Crush was thrown over to get a little bit of damage.
I do like this play from SoaR though. Siege around the Fire Giant, try and force SoaR into an awkward position. They've got a monstrous lead in this game and actually look to abuse it early.
Yep, Ravana doing some zoning again, but Uzzy going to be one of the first to jump in. Two-man taunt coming out from the Athena. Kenshin looking for it, and StormyRays jumping in with the ultimate. Fire Giant still going to be going, but XBoronic gonna take out the Guan Yu. Drill gonna be able to take out Brochacho, and Uzzy continues on trying to find the Zeus in the back line.
The monster does connect, but it's not enough damage. He gets taken down by Layers of Death. Despair picks up 1 kill, however. Him and Uzzy doing a good job of fighting, but that wall's gonna make an impact, so he's gonna force Despair into his ultimate.
Yep, Cade's still looking for it, though. Freya has come down, not going to be able to get out anymore, but it's a boxing fight. Layers of Death is going to be able to take down the Freya, and even though Ravana is so low, they're so confident and so tanky, they're going to be able to keep going, and the body blocks are real.
Good work from SoaR Gaming. Now with 3 members, though, it may be a little bit too long for him to bring down this Fire Giant. They've got to juggle aggro very well. They have some okay damage, but it's not something you want to do a Fire Giant with.
No, but the only members up right now for SoaR Gaming are Brochacho and StormyRays.
I don't think they can do this.
I mean, they're pushing it pretty close.
Please don't die.
They're pushing it
Please
really close. Layers of Death is going to get out. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and leash that. They don't want to stay any longer. That would be pretty rough.
So a lot of problems with that from SoaR Gaming. That's something they definitely need to look forward and work on. They couldn't have done the Fire Giant with those 3 members. They potentially could have if there was no respawns as quick. The problem is that respawns are still quite low in this game, so they had to respect that. Not only that, though, the way they did that Fire Giant was awful. They ended up putting the fire pit on everywhere around the Fire Giant, and they're all melee gods. You can't even walk up and hit it. If you do that, you've got to be so careful.
It's a learning experience for everybody. It's the new SCL split. It's completely fresh. You have a fresh slate, and in some instances, fresh members.
Hey, it may be fresh members and it may be a new split, but if you want to play at the highest level, you've got to do basics like tank a Fire Giant properly correctly, otherwise it will come back to haunt you.
Definitely, and SoaR Gaming are going to feel the sting from that as they go ahead and try again, but all of SoaR Gaming are back up, so going to have a little bit more opposition this time.
Yeah, I like the fact SoaR Gaming are trying to stay in this one. I know they're on the back foot themselves, but StormyRays, if he gets picked there by that Athena, it could be spelled disaster.
Disaster indeed. StormyRays going to get taunted back, but he didn't really mind it as much until there were 2-3 members there. Double tap going to do a lot of damage. Stormy forced into the cavalry charge, as you mentioned, but Ragnarok is going to be good. Going to pull the Ravana into the tower. Going to get rooted there. Beautiful root. Mystic Rush is forced, but here comes the Zeus ult as well to try to get a little bit of extra damage.
Bit of a messy fight going on here. Thor's going to go in and try and pick up the Guan Yu at the back, but doesn't manage to do that. In goes Uzzy, however, pressure out the Ravana again, but now Uzzy's been surrounded, and his boys are with him. I'm a monster on the mark from Chapo. I believe he got a double off that alone. Looking for more with it, chasing them down through the jungle. Backflip out from Neith, trying to get away as quick as possible. SoaR turning this game.
SoaR putting the pressure, feeling the pressure themselves now. SoaR Gaming showing they got teeth to bite back with.
They do with the Scylla at least, and the big thing there is you saw the commitment coming out from SoaR. They actually focus on Ravana quite a lot, but they've got to be careful of mid.
Purification forced out for ELSoaRchapo, and they're going to go ahead and back off. But I feel like if SoaR Gaming continue playing this smart and keep going, like they're going to try and get out Kenshin here, forcing FFS to go ahead and run on out. Instead, the Brutalize going to lock on. Here comes the Ragnarok again into the middle of his team, and bye-bye Kenshin.
Well, SoaR are starting to get their way back into this. Not by a whole lot, though. If you check the graphs, you'll see the gold is slowly dipping in their favor, though. But they're looking to try and answer back with the tier 1 tower in the mid lane here as well. And the pressure onto Neith is good, but XBoronic is just not tanky enough. He's level 15 against a level 20 Neith.
Getting a little too aggressive, a little too cocky, and now he's going to pay with his life. But SoaR Gaming are pushed back into their tower, and it's not something they've been used to fighting from in this game so far.
Problem is, though, is SoaR can easily defend this. There's not enough damage on the side of SoaR. We mentioned the fact that their tower killing pressure is very, very weak on the side of SoaR Gaming. And being at this deficit too, like even if you win a team fight, yeah, you can get a fire giant, but you may not be able to take down towers and phoenixes as quick as you want, which could delay and allow SoaR Gaming a way back in.
If you're SoaR Gaming, do you go more aggressive to try and match the pace of SoaR later on, or do you try and stall out to get to the same experience level?
What SoaR Gaming is doing here is watching SoaR go aggressive and trying to counteract it every single time. You saw the last engagement that ended up going in their favor because they burnt a lot of abilities at SoaR. Talking about ability usage, relics down for Chapo.
Chapo forced into the Sanctuary, got rooted by Ravana, taking a lot of damage, and as is the tower. StormyRays jumping in with the ultimate, but Layers of Death taking out Uzzy in the backline, and now, at that point, Stormy's forced back in, but did force a Sanctuary coming out from the Thor.
And you know when the front liners are actually your damage dealers, you've got a bit of a problem. Aware to the back, but I'm a monster popped, and they're looking for the pickup of the Raven, but still, Doctor is still alive. The rest of his team focusing on the tier 2. He'll trade his life for that tier 2.
Chacho getting credit for that kill. Fenrir's starting to come online, now level 16, 3, 8, and 9. A little bit better from when we saw him earlier, but for the most part, 28 minutes and 25 seconds and 13 to 27. SoaR Gaming still sitting nice and pretty.
And normally in Fenrir in the jungle, you do want to see a little bit more defense coming out. Yes, he's got a breastplate of valor here, but if he goes up against Zeus, you can see XBoronic will just evaporate him in a matter of seconds. 23,000 damage he's already done this game. And with the Fenrir going for such a damaging build, the problem he's got is that he's still low level to survive.
But SoaR Gaming are going to try and take this from SoaR at this point. Every little bit counts, as is this Gold Fury, going to slowly melt it down. Yeah,
this is going to be a nice easy free pick for SoaR Gaming. Good recognition that it was available, and the fact that there was people still in base means that they couldn't do the fire giant there.
Yeah, but we're getting a little bit of rotations coming out from that fire giant, putting down some wards, prepping for it. SoaR Gaming definitely need to keep this on their radar, but Uzzy throwing down a sentry to go ahead and start playing that ward game.
SoaR Gaming starting to show experience though here with some of their members. Clearly the shot calling is starting to come through from them, allowing them a way back into it, and they knew this themselves. You know, they went behind very, very quickly early on. Pre-20 minutes, they were massively behind, over 10,000 experience. But what they're trying to do is just weather the storm, get to that late game. When you've got an Amaterasu and a Scylla, 2 targets on its own, they're amazing. But then add a Freya to the mix.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes getting comfortable, even though it's not a situation they want to be in. If they can get comfortable, especially with this fire giant, they could be in a good spot. But StormyRays jumping in with the cavalry charge, trying to find XBoronic in the background. Fire giant is once again leashed, even though it's so low. XBoronic not going to be able to find anybody with the Ragnarok, and Thor crashing down. XBoronic going to find StormyRays, and Thor going to end up empty-handed.
And the focus is onto XBoronic because they've got to kill the Zeus in these engagements. The bad news is they committed a lot of ultimates and didn't find anything. Now it's up to the members to try and pick him up again.
Taunt coming out, going to be able to find 2, but now XBoronic in the back line. Chacho forced back out, and Doctor going to be able to find it, but Despair going to be able to turn that back on the Ravana, but the fight still continues.
It's still going on as the wall comes down. XBoronic gets credit for another kill. Freya trying to do something with that, but gets rooted in place, and now XBoronic round the corner with CaMeRxN will combine. Chapo, great crush, but still not enough to pick off Zeus.
Nice root at level 20, going to be able to find more than one target. Good purification coming out from Chapo. At this point, running for their life. Sentinel not going to be, or the root not going to be able to find anybody, and XBoronic going to be able to explode the Scylla.
And the worst thing about this as well, Tiger, is they've already taken a tier 2 tower in mid lane. They've already got the fire giant. Now the Phoenix is exposed, and it's only StormyRays available to defend this for at least another 20 seconds. He has to give up the Phoenix, and they could even look for a tier 2 tower here.
Look how quick that went down. They're going to try and go in and end. Here comes the ultimate coming out from StormyRays. Athena crashing in, trying to get that damage onto the Titan. It's at 50%. It keeps falling. StormyRays can't do a single thing. Nobody's coming up anytime nearby. Layers of Death crashing in, and that's going to be game 1 between SoaR Gaming and SoaR.
31 minutes in that one, but it was a real slaughterfest in favor of SoaR Gaming from the outset. They got off to a fantastic start with the invade early on, allowed to keep the pressure on. SoaR however, did show their experience there. They showed that they could weather the storm in the early stages and try and wait for that late game. But in the end of the day, that commitment for Zeus at the fire giant just cost them the whole game.
Regulation team stepping up. It was a really good, impressive matchup coming out from both, but only one team can win that first match. That's going to net them at least 1 point.
That's true. They get 1 point from that guaranteed, and now they can potentially take 3 points against SoaR at the start of the season. That's crazy to think about. On top of that, I mean, they've got a double-header today as well. They're still going to face the #1 team in North America after this, Most Wanted, and already with that 1 game under the belt, they'll have a nice little boon going into that one.
I mean, I'm sure they probably proved quite a few people wrong. I mean, when you're always worried about those relegation teams coming in, dealing with the CC teams myself, I mean, they have a lot to prove, and they really came out strong.
They did come out strong against SoaR. Now, SoaR